All right, guys. Your boys made a mistake. So, someone made me an offer on the Honda Monkey, and as you can see, it's gone. And I've already picked up another bike. It's a 2016 Honda Fury. It's pretty low on miles, but needs a lot of maintenance work. Both the tires are actually original, so definitely needs new tires. The previous owner says he's just recently done an oil change, but only oil change. So the thing about these bikes is their shaft drive. So there's fluid in here that he did not change. I'm going to take a look at the brakes and all that. I've already got tires on order from Cycle Gear. It's missing this cover. I've already got one coming. It's probably needs a new battery as well. But this is it right here. So tires will be here in a couple days. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move a lot of stuff around here, and we're gonna get started. As far as the Bonneville goes, we've got a bunch of parts on order as well. I've got if you look, there's a rag there. The other day from when I was trying to reverse bleed it, the washers are crush washers are no good, so it started leaking brake fluid. So we got that. We got those washers come in, and then we got the clutch cable come in on this one. So we're going to replace all that. We're going to test it again, see if the clutch is still slipping. If it's still slipping, we're going to pull the cover off and then take the clutches out and the friction disc and all that and check it out. This one, on the other hand, actually rides really, really good. I took it up and down the street this time, unlike last time. I actually aired up the tires, took it up and down the street a little bit, and it seems to ride pretty good. So today we're going to work on, one, cleaning the garage, moving the bikes around, and then two, we're going to put this one on the jack and then start removing the tires. I also did forget to mention that the Fury actually came with this bagger kit. I'm not a huge fan of baggers, to be honest with you. I think they're actually, no offense guys, the guys who do like baggers, it's just not my cup of tea. I think it's really, really ugly in my opinion. So if anyone's interested in a bagger kit for the Honda Fury, let me know, because this will go up for sale. Alright, so I was able to only get the rear. Normally I put the jack in the front and I'm able to get the front and the rear off, but the weight of the Fury is just, it's too much. It's also extremely low, so trying to get the jack underneath there to begin with was already a pain. So we're just gonna have to do it the old school method and basically pull one wheel and tire off at a time. So we're gonna go ahead and get the back one. And so what's gonna happen is basically I'm gonna go ahead and get this back one off, and then once the tire is changed on the rear, then I'll get some actual jack stands and I'll throw it underneath the foot pegs basically, and then that way we'll have the front in the air and then get the front off. So a little bit more of a pain in the ass, but it is what it is, you know, it just comes with the territory. So basically we're going to start off by removing this right here. I think this is a 6 hex. We're going to remove this. We're going to get the rear caliper. This is the front caliper mount. We're going to get this one loose, and then once we go to break this guy loose here, that'll separate the caliper, and we can basically lift and put the caliper on the side, on the side somewhere, and then draw out the axle nut all the way through, and then that'll free up the rear here. And then so once we get this rear tire off, the next thing that we're going to do is we're basically going to we're going to loosen this guy here. Here's the fill, and the drain is down here. So we're going to remove the fill first just to make sure we can. And if that breaks loose, then we'll take the drain off here, and then we'll go ahead and we'll drain the final drive at the same time. So pretty straightforward. A little difficult, I think, in comparison to chain bikes, but you know, we'll see. This is my second shaft drive bike, and it's been a long time since I've last taken off a tire on a shaft drive, but I don't remember it being that difficult. Alright, so this is, I have this broken loose. This is actually an 1 1/4. I don't know what that works out to be metric, but 1 1/4 is what I used here. Then this was actually an 8. The problem is with the 8, it's pretty long here. So I was able to get a couple turns out of it, but it hits the exhaust. So I've got this broken loose enough. I'm going to put my pliers in here and just kind of rotate it off the rest of the way. Definitely needs new rear pads. I've went ahead and compressed it. So while it's right here, I just took my screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, stuck it here and just kind of pried against it just to get the piston to completely open up here. So we're going to order some pads for this as well. But that's not going to stop us from moving forward. So after getting this loose, I couldn't punch the axle nut through. So I went ahead and pulled off the header and exhaust. Pretty simple. The two header bolts are, it's actually all 12. So you've got the two header bolts, those are 12s, and then you've got these two that mount down here, and those are also 12s. So I was able to get that loose, set it all down, and now I have free access here to the axle, and I don't know if I have to remove this. I think I can just get away with loosening it. So we'll check that out. But the next step is punching this through. We're just gonna take our screwdriver, set that in there, and then hit it with a hammer, and then just get it pushed all the way through. All right, so here's the axle shaft removed. I had to coerce it a little bit, meaning that I had to kind of hit down on this. You got to be really careful because you don't want to mess up this on the threads. So what I ended up doing was I put a piece of wood here, and then I hit it until it just went past, and then when it wouldn't go any further, I just undid the screw, I undid the nut, excuse me, and then I just gave it little taps right here with this flathead screwdriver. You got to be really careful because there's a seal on this side. There's a seal on both sides, so you definitely don't want to scar it or anything. So just be extremely careful when you do it. Normally it comes out pretty easy, but you can see that this is corroded, so that means that it's been in this bike forever. So we're gonna clean this up, and then probably throw a little bit of grease on it when we go to reinstall it. So, but the axle nut is now out. And then we will pull the trim off. All right, so the rear rim is off. It was a complete pain. I mean, the axles normally come out relatively easy, but you can see again on this one it's really rusted, so it hasn't been out for a while. So in order to get this one out, I actually had to coerce it out. So I took my wood block right there, and I basically hit the rim. Like I hit the tire, would rotate a little bit, hit the tire, rotate a little bit, and rinse and repeat till it all the way came out. So don't freak out when you see this. This is supposed to come out. This is part of the final drive assembly. So this is definitely supposed to come out. So don't freak out when you see this. We're going to put some grease back on it when the time comes. So for now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take the axle and all that stuff and stick it back in just for now. That way we don't lose it. I like to, because stuff like this takes a little bit of while, especially since the tire won't be here till Tuesday, so in a couple days. So I basically just will put the hardware in and just hand tight everything. Here's that nut for the caliper. So same deal, or that bolt, excuse me. I've got a couple threads in it. Same thing with the axle. I'm just gonna slide it in and make sure that the spacer and the washer are here. That way, like, again, you're not gonna lose it and you're gonna know in the order everything needs to go. All right, so everything's hand tight, axle slid in, spacers here, and then the washer and the nut are on this side. That way when I go to take it out, I'll know. So we're gonna check the grease in here, see how that looks. And like I said, we're still gonna drain out the final drive unit. Same deal, we're gonna make sure that we can take the fill off first. And if we can take the fill, then we'll hit the drain. So the reason why we do the fill first is, imagine if you don't do that. Imagine this is screwed up, like this is cross-threaded and you don't know it. You go to take the drain out and all the fluid comes out, and now this thing is cross-threaded and you can't even get fluid in it. So then you're basically SOL. So like I said, we're gonna take this off, we'll loosen this bottom one, and then if all goes well, we'll start draining it out. All right, so the drain is a 6mm. This guy here is a 6 millimeter Allen, and then the 17 nut here. And so now we've got it drained out. It looks really gross. We're gonna need a new crush washer here that I didn't get. This uses an O-ring, but the O-ring actually does not look bad. You can see that it's still protruding above that. So, and this is 80-90 weight. It doesn't use that much, as you can tell. That's basically all that's drained out here. So what we're gonna do is we'll get some crush washers. We're gonna let this drain all the way out. We'll get some crush washers, and we basically will fill this back up. And to fill this up, you basically just fill up with the 80-90 weight until it comes out of here, and then once it fully drains, like from here, then it's full. But yeah, as you can see, it didn't even drain that much out, but it looks pretty terrible. So we're gonna let this drip. We're gonna let this drip here, and we can't really do much else today. I'm gonna go grab some emery cloth to clean up the axle here. So some emery cloth. I still have some grease here. Crush washers I have at the shop, so I'll grab those Monday or so. And I may take off the front fender on the front. I may wait because it really won't make that much of a difference. The fender's not that hard to remove.